Let's now look at the penalty shootout. Let's focus on the penalty shootout. We can have the highlights. Yesterday we spoke about the Japan and Croatia penalties. We saw Spain. In fact, Japan did one better than Spain. At least Japan scored one. Spain missed all kicks. So just take us through. What was it? A matter of Bono being brilliant, or the Spaniards just took very poor kicks?
Well, it's a bit of both, because even if the person plays a bad kick, you have to save it and you have to guess the right way. They brought on Sarabia because of the penalty, and he hit the post. I always say, for me, those penalties are better because it shows you're going for the high reward areas. It doesn't always work out, but if you look at Carlos Soler, he's on the screen right now, right in the zone, right in the zone. He puts it right where the keeper wants it, right height, and that's another thing about the Spanish penalties I didn't like. No one went for the top part of the goal. If you notice, they are all on the ground. And the one that shocked me the most was Sergio Busquets, because his last shootout, he missed. So and he's taking another one. And I even saw a stat, I have to go and read about is it their last 22 or last 18 attempts in penalty shootouts? Spain have scored 7.
Wow.
Because they've been knocked out on penalties, I believe, twice. Because if you remember correctly, they lost to, was it Italy in a shootout?
Yes.
They lost to Italy. They beat Switzerland though.
Round of 16, Russia last World Cup.
Russia again.
And I even remember the Raul generation to lost on penalties.
They lost 2002. They lost again
to South Korea.
Yeah.
So they have a very bad record. And funnily enough, they've lost 4 penalty shootouts in the World Cup, or 5. That's the worst record. And Argentina, the only other team to have competed in 5 penalty shootouts, and they've won 4. And they are also, and I think they're the first team to miss all their penalties since Switzerland, I believe, in 2006. So just so many unwanted records in this shootout, and it was just poor. And again, we spoke about the zones. Apart from Sarabia, I didn't think anyone was trying to go towards a kind of corner, and none of them played high penalties. So I don't know what that was about. Maybe it was the fear or what, but it was, the penalties were poor. There's no two ways about it.
Interesting stuff. Yeah, if you have any thoughts?
Yeah, the penalties were very poor. We look at the attempts from Carlos Soler, for instance. He didn't even stretch Bono that much. Bono, it was right there. All he had to do was just take a little leap onto his left side, and he grabbed the ball. And it was very disappointing. Looking at the way they had played throughout the entire game, and to be able to come up and fall and come up this short in the penalty kicks in crunch time, that was very disappointing. But I love the Moroccan penalties. If the penalty attempts, if you play it well, the chances of you scoring are high. Okay. And the one attempt that the Moroccans didn't play well, it was saved. It was a poor attempt.
Let's look at Morocco's first penalty. Let's look at Morocco's first penalty. Now, yesterday, so if you remember, we spoke about the 2 types of penalties, where you pick your spot and you go for power. This one. So he didn't stutter. He didn't wait for the keeper to move. He went to the other side. But he also didn't go for the corner. So had the goalkeeper guessed the correct way and saved it, it would have been deemed a poor penalty.
I think for him, he changed his foot at the last minute, if you look. He had his foot in such a way he could play both sides. So I think he was also watching the keeper to see how the keeper will move before he played his penalty. Sarabia, I think, picked his side and went for it. And Bono actually guessed right. I believe that he was waiting to see how the keeper would go. And his foot was in such a way that he would... And that's why he didn't have too much power. Because usually, if you're playing that type of penalty, you don't want to hit it too hard because you want to be able to change your mind. So I think the Moroccan guy actually waited for the keeper to die before he made his decision. ZH, with that much power, he had decided he was going straight down the middle no matter what.
Last in it.
Yeah, so I think usually when the person puts the amount of power, you can tell. If you look at Soler, I think Soler, he wasn't sure, but he didn't angle himself in such a way he could change his mind. Yeah. I think the way he opened up his body,
it was so obvious.
It was too obvious, and I think that's what it is.
And the height he played the ball at, it suited Bono. It made it easy for him to save it. If he had played it on ground level, it could have easily slipped under Bono's arm. He could have easily slipped it under Bono's arm, but he played it at a height that was favorable to Bono, and for him to be able to save it. And that for me was an all-round poor penalty. And Busquets' penalty attempt, it pretty much reminded me of what John Mason did in that 2010 penalty shootout.
I think Busquets was hoping to see whether a keeper would move.
But
I don't think he had the technique to kind of change his body. It was poor,
but Hakimi's penalty kick was brilliant. To be able to do so under all that pressure, deliver a Panenka.
He was playing a 90% penalty.
That was brilliant.
And you know why the Panenka nearly always works in those situations? The keeper is under pressure. He will dive.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to stand there and to be said that he didn't make an attempt. So he will dive.
Yeah. It was a brilliant piece of skill.
Interesting stuff. So Spain dropping out of the competition, kicked out by Morocco. Morocco becoming the 4th African team to reach the quarterfinals of a FIFA World Cup.